All right, so neither the Jets nor the Giants have been highly favored by the football guys this season, but let's see if the sports betting gods have them favored for their Sunday matchups. You know this man from HBO Sports, ESPN, so many more outlets out there. Curran Bhatia is in the studio to help turn your parlay into a partay. I just made that up before you came up in here.
I like what you did there, Brandon. Wow, all right, that's a great start. Okay, I'm going to use that. Okay.
All right, so let's start. Long time Jets fan.
Suffering Jets fan, lifelong Jets fan. You know the deal. It's a tough time in New York sports if you are a football fan.
In general.
Yes,
so right now, let's put some money in these people's pockets.
Yep.
You got the over-under 46.5 for the Rams coming to MetLife Stadium to take on the Jets. What do you like about this one?
All right, well, I'm going to take the over 46.5, and that is, of course, Rams coming to Jets, as you said. So we're talking about the suffering Jets and the suffering Jets fans. So why would we be taking the over? Well, you have to look at last game. And it seemed like in the second half, at least, we saw maybe a little bit of the Aaron Rodgers of old, the Davante Adams of old. They seem to be clicking. Now, Adams didn't do anything in the first half, and Rodgers pointed this out. He said, hey, we had a talk at halftime, and that really changed things, it seems like. And so they had massive success. So the hope is that they're going to ride the momentum, and they're going to get the over there. So, let's hope that happens. Rodgers and Adams having their, that riding that momentum and that continued success. That's why you would look at the over. Now, at the same time, Rams, coming all the way over here from LA. It's a cold weather game, so maybe the Jets can ride that momentum and have success. The Rams can also score points, and that's why I'm taking the over 46.5. The Jets are an underdog in this game, and rightfully so. But that's been, a little bit of what this season has looked like. And I think it's just like every other time this year, us as Jets fans are saying, all right, well, now's the time they're actually going to make that push, and we'll see what happens. Let me just close with this, Brandon, on this one. The Jets were actually a category in Final Jeopardy. I don't know if you saw this.
Aaron Rodgers could be the Jeopardy host one.
Well, that's also part of it. So Aaron, there's a lot of different connections. But the Final Jeopardy answer was, only team to play in the Super Bowl before Neil Armstrong walked on the moon and has not been back to the big game since. And that was the Jets. So that's an unfortunate position to be in. We know the Jets actually have the longest playoff drought in North American professional sports history, 14 seasons. So we haven't had success as a team. But the playoffs are out of there. There's no pressure. So let it fly. Score some points. That's my view.
To quote Jim Mora, playoffs? All right, and
we're trying to win a game.
That's unfortunate. But what's fortunate, especially for bettors, is that this spread keeps jumping like crisscross. Talk to me. Why does the spread keep jumping?
Yeah, the spread originally was 3.5. Now we're looking at 3 points. So if you are going to take the Jets, which I recommend you do, again, if you are taking the mindset that Aaron Rodgers and Adams are going to continue clicking the way they were, Garrett Wilson's going to continue to do his thing, then you can take the Jets with points here. Now they're playing at home. It's minor adjustments and little things that you have to look at. So like we said, Rams coming across the country. Stafford maybe has had some struggles in cold weather. The low tomorrow in New York, 16 degrees, right? All right, so cold weather, Jets are from New York, hoping that they can take advantage of that. But like we said, we've said this every time this season. All right, they got Davante Adams. The Jets are going to do great. Hassan Reddick is back. They changed the play caller. The results have been the same, except for recently, the second half of the last game against Jacksonville, they look great. So let me put it this way for you, Brendan. We talked about suffering Jets fans. So if you are a suffering Jets fan, by definition, you must be a Jets fan. And if you are a Jets fan, the only way to continue to be a Jets fan is you really have to be optimistic in a way. So let's flip it a little bit. This is the optimistic view of the game. The Jets are going to ride momentum. We saw last game, Aaron Rodgers threw the 71-yard pass to Adams. We saw him jump up and do the Super Mario celebration. So offense is clicking. And one last thing with this, in terms of the momentum, right, that Aaron Rodgers is doing. There's actually stats to back this up. So let me read this to you, Brandon. In the first 7 games of the season, Aaron Rodgers had 10 TDs, 7 interceptions. Okay, not great. In the last 7 games, though, 13 TDs, 1 interception. So the momentum is there. And Aaron Rodgers' passer rating in the same period went from 88.2 to 100.4. So it's not unreasonable, not delusional, to say that there is actually some momentum here building for the Jets offense.
All right, sounds like that ayahuasca is kicking in, and my man is playing better by the week.
Your words, not mine, but sure, let's take it. Let's do it.
All right, now let's flip the script to another fan base that's suffering just as much as the Jets fan base right now. The Giants heading on down to Atlanta. Michael Penix Jr. is going to make his first start. They cannot let a rookie quarterback come in and throw all over the Shane Bowen-led defense when it comes to the Giants. You actually like the first half over-under on this one. Why?
Yes. Okay, so Giants are taking on the Atlanta Falcons, right? In Atlanta. So the over-under for the first half is 20.5, and I'm going to take the under, and I'll tell you why. So Drew Lock is going to be starting for the Giants, as we know. I am going to predict that there's not going to be a huge offensive rally from either team in the first half. We mentioned Michael Penix Jr. getting the start. And that isn't to say that Michael Penix Jr. can't be a phenomenal player.
No.
But this is his first professional start. So, yes, the ceiling is higher long term, but the floor is also lower, especially in his first game out. In addition, like we said, it's a tough time for New York football fans. And the Giants' offense has looked abysmal. There's really no other way to put it. They haven't had an offensive identity, and it's been a rough go at it. So I am going to take the under at 20.5 for the first half in this game for those reasons. Like I said, I don't. That's not to say Michael Penix isn't going to have success long term, but going out there for the first time in an NFL game, it doesn't matter who you're against. That's going to affect it. The last thing, Brandon, is we heard that Michael Penix actually. I thought this was interesting. When he got the call that he was QB1, I don't know if you heard this. He said he was at Costco getting a hot dog. He was so excited he didn't eat the hot dog. So Michael Penix, get some protein in, get ready for this game. But I do think it'll take him a moment to just get used to the NFL, and I think because of the Giants' struggle, that all leads me to say. First half, 20.5, I'm taking the under for Giants versus Falcons.
All right, he didn't finish the hot dog. Hopefully for Giants fans and Brian Dable, he didn't eat his Wheaties on Sunday into this game as well. You still have Bijan Robinson in the backfield. You've got Drake London. No relation? We're no relation there. Get all these Drake London jokes. No, Drake London on the side. Giants defense all banged up, hurt. You got some practice squad guys in there in the secondary. I'm a little worried when it comes to Drake London, what he could do to that secondary. But he's like he likes the 20 and a half.
Under first half, 20 and a half. All
right, and now let's get to the fun.
Okay.
You got
all right.
Parlay. Yes. That's going to make these people want to partay.
Yeah. There you go.
What do you like?
I hope it does. Let's see what happens. Again, I am riding the theme of the Jets offense finally starting to click. So you could just take these bets straight up, but let's put it together in a little bit of parlay to give you a little bit of value. So I am taking a parlay. Leg 1, Aaron Rodgers having 200-plus passing yards. Leg 2, Garrett Wilson, 50-plus receiving yards. And finally, leg 3, Davante Adams, over 73.5 receiving yards. So, Brandon, when you put that all together, that puts you at plus 182. So what you're essentially doing is making that minus into a plus, right? And so, yes, a little bit more risk, a little bit more reward. And we are riding that theme of optimism, right? That's what you have to have to be a Jets fan. It's really what you have to have to be a New York football fan, no matter what your team is. And so this weekend, we're going to say, by these bets and plays, the Jets are going to have an upset win. The offense is going to be clicking. And, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, remember, Brandon, there's always next year. There's always next year. But first, week 16, those are my picks. Brandon, one more thing. Are you feeling optimistic at least?
The glass is half full right now.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, there you go.
So you're betting on the Jets offense to look like what they were supposed to look like going into the beginning of the season.
That's it. Okay. We're clicking on all cylinders, and everyone is doing their job. And whatever the conversation was between Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers at halftime last time, maybe it made a difference, and maybe that will play out on Sunday for the Jets.
Well, I love this conversation, man. Thanks for coming in today.
No, thank you so much. And please, New York football fans, keep the optimism. Keep the optimism. We got next season, but first, week 16, here's some plays.